Hello, my gorgeous people. I'm today at a friend's house, but I wanted to do this video. Please download the app Getter and join it. It's exactly like Twitter, but with freedom of speech, easier to manage as well, and with more characters. So you can write up to 700, I think, and 70 characters in your posts. And it's amazing. I love it. So please go join it. I'll leave the link so you can we can all gab about things and everything. So it should be fun. For some reason, people think that if we criticize something or someone we love, we must hate it because people who we like cannot be criticized. That is ridiculous. I've been accused of so many things because I criticize the current royals. I am a big fan of the monarchy. It's like, for example, if you're a fan of democracy, and if you see that a government who is elected is committing things that are anti-democratic, and you just sit there and say, oh, I'm not going to criticize because, even though they're committing something that's completely anti-democratic, I'm not going to criticize them. That's absolute BS. If people do not hold other people accountable to the laws or rules or protocols, there's complete dictatorship and anarchy, and we don't want that. At least not for me. I want to, for example, if I believe in democracy, I want a government who truly represents democratic values. If I believe in the monarchy, I want the people within the monarchy to be respectable and to live up to the standards. And the reason why the standards are so high for the royal family is because they have so many privileges, and before it was George V who actually issued a letters patent stating that royals didn't have to marry people of royal descent, which is a shame. There's a reason for that. If you think about it, it makes sense because people within the royal life know what the monarchy is about, respect the rules, and know what to expect. This is why, for example, you end up with people like Meghan Markle, like Sarah Ferguson. Now, having said that, I am going to get to Meghan after this, okay? Having said that, it's like people want to throw stones at Prince Andrew for his friendship with Epstein. Good. Yeah, he was a stupid idiot. I don't believe Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't believe Virginia Roberts. I think she's a big fat liar with everything she's done. And the deal that she signed with Epstein clearly prevents her from suing Prince Andrew. Now, why isn't she suing all the other men that, according to her, abused her? Why only Prince Andrew? If she's suing Prince Andrew because she was trafficked to him, he wasn't the only guy she was trafficked to. You know what I mean? Now, so before we throw stones at Prince Andrew, take a look at Prince Charles. Prince Charles was extremely good friends with Jimmy Savile and Peter Ball, the bishop. He invited him to his wedding in 2005, and he took counseling for him and Camilla to help him to help him with the public view, because he wanted him, in spite of, and don't come, please, it really angers me when I see people putting, well, he didn't know. He was cautioned 4 times in writing by Scotland Yard in regards to Jimmy Savile. He was angry with Princess Diana because he licked her. Jimmy Savile, when introduced to Princess Diana, he licked her hand and she found him disgusting and scary. And when Charles actually asked Jimmy Savile to counsel the unstable Diana, and she refused to be counseled by the likes of Jimmy Savile, Prince Charles saw that as further proof that Princess Diana was insane. The fact that she found this guy creepy, rightly so. So before you throw stones, and not only, and that's 4 times with Jimmy Savile, and 2 official times by Scotland Yard in regards to Peter Ball. And Prince Charles wrote to Scotland Yard. Scotland Yard has sealed all communications between Prince Charles and Scotland Yard in regards to Peter Ball, which is wrong. because one of the letters that managed to get published when when Prince Charles was writing to Peter Ball was saying that he would take care of all those wretched people. The wretched people were the victims who were now grown-ups, who were children when Peter Ball was abusing them. Okay, so. And he gave him refuge. He gave him a house, a really nice house in the Duchy of Cornwall for him and his twin brother to take refuge from all these terrible accusations. And it wasn't until it was so out in the public that he had no choice but to distance himself, that he distanced himself, but he gave his support completely, undoubtedly, to these two PEDO people. Okay, so before you throw stones at Prince Andrew, I'm not a fan of Prince Andrew. I'm not a fan of the Yorks. Okay, I think that Prince Andrew should really be removed from everything. Now, make no mistake, Harry is a traitor and Meghan is a fraudster. Why do I say that? These are all my thoughts and opinions. It is clear now from everything that has transpired in public, in the court appeal, that even though it went in her favor, a lot of information came out that she had been plotting the move to the US prior to getting married, which means that when she was given the option to lead her life as a private individual without titles, anywhere else she wanted to live, or be a working member of the royal family, with the conditions, the conditions, the protocols, and the rules that she had been clearly and patiently shown and explained by two of the closest aides to the Queen, that she was fully informed when they gave her the option. They said, you know what? In fact, they encouraged her to remain a private citizen. And what did she say? She said, no, I am going to be a working member of the royal family and part of the team. When we now know, given everything that's come out, that she never really intended to stay there. That means that she committed fraud in order to obtain financial benefits. Anything that you do that gives you, anything that you obtain under false pretenses that gives you financial gains, position gain, social position gain, any personal gain, it is fraud. Make no mistake about that. Now, Prince Harry has committed felony treason. Now, right now I read an article about Prince Charles extending an olive branch to Prince Harry by saying what a great guy he is with fighting for the environment. What has Harry really done for the environment? Absolutely nothing. If anything, he has contributed to damaging the environment. So Harry, people, and this is just my point of view, but it's actually very demonstrated because I've done everything very publicly. Harry and Meghan did not fight with the royal family as the family members. They attacked the institution of the monarchy with slander and lies. That's a different story. Were they, for example, politicians, or, for example, a general who had gone on a very public platform and said the things that Harry and Meghan have said, they would have been fired and they would have asked to recant or apologize in public. To date, they have not been held accountable. And this is a very current theme with the current royal family occupying the monarchy. Lack of accountability. Complete lack of accountability. Meghan has not been held accountable to anything. In fact, the royal family exercises their muscle in all institutions to ensure that the current royal family members get away with as much as they possibly can. We have Harry and Meghan Markle. Harry is still on that royal website. In spite of the fact that he doesn't live in the United Kingdom, he betrayed his country, he abandoned his post, he committed fraud because he also knew that he was not staying in the royal family. He was not going to be working. He knew that they were planning to leave to the US, and yet they accepted them and fought to have those titles in order to obtain prestige, because they knew that when they bolted, it would be better for them. So that is fraud. He committed treason. he swore an oath of allegiance to the Queen. You know, it reminds me of the Duke of Windsor. You know, the Duke of Windsor, he got the Medal of Honor. In spite of the fact, yes, they sent him to the front lines, but he never saw battle. He never even fired a shot. He was never in danger, just very much like Harry. But he was awarded a Medal of Honor. Just like the Lord Mountbatten, who disobeyed a direct order during the war, which resulted in the deaths of soldiers and the capture of hundreds of others. And instead of being court-martialed, as he should have been, and tried for treason and discharged and everything, he was quietly removed and promoted. So we see the same thing going on right now. We have now Harry and Meghan Markle, Prince Andrew, who can't escape. I mean, for real, from what I read, because I asked a friend of mine who's a lawyer, he says that the only reason the judge would allow for Virginia Giuffre or Virginia Roberts to continue with this lawsuit is because of publicity. And that's unfortunately an illness that affects judges nowadays, because they want to be in the eye of publicity. They want to be popular instead of doing what's right by the law. Because even though that agreement does not say Prince Andrew by name, but it does say that Virginia cannot sue anybody else at all in the future for anything. And she has done that. And she has lied about so many things. But anyways, I digress. So let's not make any mistakes here. Now, many of you have said to me, Paula, how can you say that about the children? So what if they ask, do you know what abusive people do and what criminals do? What is the first thing that they say? They don't want witnesses. When somebody is committing a crime, they don't want witnesses. When somebody's doing something that is not right, they don't want witnesses. And this is why people like Harry and Meghan Markle, abusive people, isolate children or their victims from others to prevent others witnessing their behavior. What now? What's going on with the bullying investigation? Exactly. Remember when I tell you that the current royal family is breaking every rule, every protocol, every law to help their members get away with everything. And yes, it sounds like a criticism to Queen Elizabeth II, and it is, because that is what she's allowing. Make no mistake, the Queen of England, one of the most powerful women in the world, is not a victim. She's not powerless. It's just that she has allowed for things to get away for so long that to actually put a stop to it, people have too many things to point a finger at and say, hey, well, how can you let that get away? How can you let that get away? How can you let that get away? Sarah Ferguson should have been sent to jail, should have been investigated, prosecuted, and sent to jail for cash for honors when she was caught on video selling for 500,000 pounds, guys. That's almost $750,000 access to Prince Andrew, okay, and to the businesses that he could provide. Yet nothing happened. She was even continued allowed to keep using the royal title. This woman should have been stripped of any of that. And not only that, she's back in the fold with Queen Elizabeth II. Okay, so now we have, and I'm going to say something very categorically because it is the truth. The Duke of Windsor was not allowed to marry Wallis Simpson for many reasons. They knew she was a shady character. 2, she had been married in church, and her husband was still alive. Let me get to that. 3, she was the twice divorced woman. And there were also standards because, the royal family had such privileged positions, such power, such platform that the people occupying it, it's almost like a life thing. You have to be a stand-up, person to be able to join that. And Wallis Simpson was not. Now, the marriage, the 1936 Marriages Act, and the subsequent reform in 1949 prevents royals from marrying only in a civil ceremony. In order for any royal to remain in the line of succession or have a chance to accede the throne, they have to be married in the Church of England. Camilla and Prince Charles were not married in the Church of England. They were married in civil law. And what should have been told, the reason why Camilla and Prince Charles can get married is because Camilla was married, even though it was a Catholic, because her ex-husband was a Catholic, but it is a Catholic wedding. It was a church wedding. The only way that she could have married Prince Charles in the Church of England was if her husband had been dead. Unfortunately, they can't marry now again in the Church of England because they decided to marry in a civil ceremony, which disqualifies Prince Charles from succeeding to the throne. I don't know why people get so angry about it. It is there. It is the right thing. And Tony Blair, instead of saying, and many lords pointed that out before he got married. This is why the Queen was so angry when she gave after she gave her consent, because she found out that was the case. So what did the Lord do? And one of his lawyers, they quoted the 2000 Human Rights Act that Prince Charles had a right to have a family. Nobody was saying that he didn't have a right to have a family. The problem is that if he wanted to do it that way, he would disqualify himself from succeeding the throne. So Tony Blair should have said to him, listen, sir, if you marry Camilla Parker Bowles in a civil ceremony without any reforms, as the law stands right now, you are disqualified from succeeding as the next King of England. And not only that, you remove yourself from the line of succession. Not Prince William, because Prince William was already over 18 years of age. You know, he didn't have the balls to tell Charles that. They should have told him, if you want to marry Camilla Parker Bowles in the Church of England, so your marriage is recognized and you can succeed the throne peacefully and remain everything in law, you have to wait for Andrew Parker Bowles to die or as an annulment to the church, in the Catholic Church, you know what I mean? Which can be done, but it takes a few years. But Charles wanted to marry Camilla then and there, because whatever Prince Charles wants, Prince Charles gets. Okay? So let's not, people who are throwing stones and people who are blinded by Prince Charles, he is not a nice person. He has broken the law as his marriage to Camilla stands right now. And it was not a blessing by the Anglican Church that he got. It was an act of penitence, of repentance, that it was oversaw by the Archbishop. Because under church rules, he is not married by the church. He was not married by the church. You cannot have two weddings. It's just like what Meghan Markle said, that she was married 3 days before and then she had a church ceremony. It's not that way. It doesn't happen that way. You know, he was married and they're under civil law, and by marrying like that as a royal, wanting to remain in being part of the royal family, he disqualified himself, and that's the way it is. But people, for some reason, find that offensive. It is the fact. It's just the fact, like Meghan Markle and Harry are idiots. They're fraudsters, they're grifters. Now, I want to point out something actually quite interesting, because, and a bookworm too, thank you. I made a mistake yesterday in the video I made yesterday, saying that the guy standing in the picture with Misha Nunu and Amal Rajan was the owner of the house. He wasn't, but he was the Baron. And I actually made a video on that. I don't know why I get so confused. Could be age. That guy actually was the first Russian Baron and only Russian Baron knighted by or made by the Queen or something like that. So no, that guy didn't own, but it's another Russian who owns the house. Now, I have actually gone and looked, because many of you have pointed out the fact. 3 things, and it's really great. First, that Meghan Markle and Harry never redecorated their home. And it's true. One of my friends actually went to a dinner at their place with other people there. And the house was like a setup, you know. It's just like you see in the pictures, very old-fashioned, not old-fashioned, but you know, even when you move in a home that you just bought, you usually change stuff around it. So either the house is rented, which is why they didn't redecorate it, or 2, if they bought it, they didn't have enough money to redecorate it, because redecorating that kind of space is very expensive. 3, if it is their home and they want to sell it, then they're going wrongly about it by saying, oh, they don't like the place. They don't, because that would mean that that is not a very good advertising for others to buy. We don't like the place, we don't like the location, which leads me to believe, rightly so, that they didn't actually buy it, they rented it out. And I think that if they did rent it out, they're leaving under bad terms because they're trying to be as spiteful as possible by saying, oh, we don't like the house, we're not happy here, we don't like the location, to impact on whoever owns the house to sell. You know what I mean? If I'm the owner of the house and my tenants are going around saying, you know, we're leaving because we don't like it, it's not for us, the location is terrible, that's not good for me, the person trying to sell it. So it's kind of like, I'm tended to believe that they instead of purchasing the house, they actually rent it. But who knows with these two? You know what I mean? And now we have Charles extending an olive branch. It's not that he's extending an olive branch. He's just scared of what Harry's going to say, because Prince Charles is only focused on his PR, just like Harry and Meghan Markle. Harry really is a daddy's boy because he learned all the bad lessons that Charles had to teach. You know what I mean? So, and people now get angry with people like me by pointing things out. There was never a close bond. Prince Charles has always been, first and foremost, is a very self-absorbed narcissist who thinks only of himself. You know, he wanted Camilla. I don't even think he was too much in love with her, but more to prove a point that that's who he wants, and because she slighted him, and she was completely in love with Andrew Parker Bowles, by the way, completely obsessed. So for people to come and say that Camilla had no choice and she married, no, she was in love. She campaigned for years to marry that guy, okay? And Prince Charles was just an afterthought. And then she was happy being a mistress and then screwing around with Princess Diana. I mean, these people are terrible. You know, and calling things out the way they are. Why are you offended? Why do you get offended? You know, like, I find that Prince William and I really do think that the only salvageable people, you know, they have to purge the monarchy. Prince Charles and Camilla have to go. It has to be Prince William and Catherine. You know, the Countess of Wessex, Prince Edward and the Countess of Wessex. Andrew cannot be there. Harry and Meghan have to be removed. And, you know, Prince Andrew has to be removed, you know. And believe it or not, Princess Anne is a fantastic asset. And her daughter, you know, like, I mean, people have to go back to the protocols and hold the royal family accountable instead to keep the monarchy respectable. Because right now, really, the monarchy is completely depreciated. And it's not because they're not popular. It's because there's so many crimes, so many violations, so many crimes are being exposed, so many abuses. It is a shame, and it makes me angry. It really does make me angry, makes me upset. And people say, why do you care? I am part of the Commonwealth, and the Queen represents me. The monarchy is the institution that represents me, and whoever's occupying the monarchy is representing me, and it's my head of state. So, and I want the best people representing me. You know what I mean? I don't want people like Prince Andrew, Prince Charles, with zero moral compass. Like Camilla, zero moral compass representing me. Camilla is a serial cheater, the same as Prince Charles. You know, Prince Andrew is a bloody crook, and the same for Sarah Ferguson. You know, like, for people not to see that and to get offended when it's pointed out. And they call me anti-monarchist. No. And the Queen, her biggest mistake has been to allow all these abuses to happen just because she loved her children. Because she didn't do the same for her uncle. And, you know, Queen Mary had more balls than Queen Elizabeth in that respect. And Parliament is the stick that keeps the monarchy in place. And they have failed the UK and the Commonwealth. But these are just my thoughts and opinions. What do you guys think? And by the way, please leave your comments. Follow me on Getter. And I'm really curious, and I'm going to do a little bit more investigation on whether that house is rented in Montecito or whether it's theirs. But from the likes of you, and from what many of you pointed out to me, I think it is rented because no refurbishment, and they are hurting for money. They are hurting for money. But make no mistake, Prince Charles is going to give them money, okay? So what do you guys think? Please let me know. Please let me know.